We've all seen these things before: handicap parking, curb cuts, access aisles. We don't always realize the impacts they have on others.
In this shot you can see my lift comes out quite far. It comes out about 5 feet, and then when you extend my chair past that when I'm coming off my lift, I need the entire van accessible area in order to get in and out of my van. So someone really should not park there, because I need the entire area, and others will need that entire area to utilize their mobility equipment. The fact that people with disabilities and without need to be educated in what the use of that access aisle is for, because some people, even with a hang tag or a plate, will park in that access aisle and block it for those of us that need it.
What are some things that we unknowingly do that have negative impacts on others?
Sometimes people in shopping centers will have a tendency to, instead of putting your shopping carts back where they go, they wind up leaving them in the most convenient place, which sometimes happens to be in the handicap parking space. In fact, I'm convinced sometimes it's almost like a magnet. Handicap parking spaces wind up being the source, the storage spot for shopping carts sometimes. It can be very frustrating because for someone who is using a lift or a ramp, it takes them several minutes just to get in and out of the vehicle. So if they've got to get out and try to move the shopping cart and get back in to move their vehicle, that's just something that really takes up a lot of time, and sometimes it's not even possible.
Just like with their handicap placards, I think people, they don't mean to be mean-spirited, but they use their placard when it doesn't really belong to them.
Right.
What are curb cuts?
A lot of people aren't aware of curb cuts and the purpose they serve. Curb cuts are basically the only way that a person in a wheelchair can get from a parking lot level up to the sidewalk level. The curb cut basically serves the purpose to get you from one level to the other. Unfortunately, a lot of times people, when they pull up to drop someone off or to park along a curb, like in a parallel parking space, will forget that the curb cut is there for a reason and will park in front of it. For an individual who's trying to get maybe to exit a store and go into their car, or going in from their car to into a shopping center, it can make it all the difference in the world if they don't know that the curb cut is going to be available.
Why is the American Disabilities Act important to people with disabilities?
20 years ago, the Americans with Disabilities Act guaranteed every person the right to live, work, and participate fully in the American experience.
The American Disabilities Act was designed to empower people who have disabilities to be able to do the things that the rest of society does. When we do things such as block a handicap parking space or block a curb cut, in effect, we're taking away some of that empowerment.
Why do people not always follow the laws set in place?
I think that people don't really realize what they're doing. They really don't understand how to use the handicap access aisle. They don't know what that's for, and so they mistakenly park in there.
People with disabilities have the same rights as people without them. It's our duty to be educated about the laws and equipment people with disabilities rely on. We can use that knowledge to make sure they have the same access and opportunities as us to live their daily lives.